Yeah, we've pretty much become road warriors, but that's fine. Like I was saying before, I think that it's important for us to be comfortable in the competitive environment, whether it's home or away. But it's naturally it's nice to be in comfortable surroundings, back on our home floor in front of Big Blue Nation again. We're excited about that and trying to fill this place up on Friday.
Speaking of being road warriors, last weekend was sort of a unique experience with the two-meet weekend. That's pretty rare. What did you think about what you saw from your team? Maybe not just in terms of competition, but in terms of being around each other for that long.
It was great. I think when you can get them together, whether you're doing a retreat somewhere or whether you're doing a road competitions, they spend a lot of time around each other. I think it's a good thing. They become more of a unit.
Getting a chance to look back a little bit more on your two meets this weekend, how do you assess the performances?
I thought we did well. I think we still have, obviously, we have places that we can improve. It's nice to see our seniors starting to come out of the little bit of a slump that they were in, and they've gone through quite a bit of a struggle, but I think the struggle has made them stronger, and now we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel on that, and hopefully we can have a strong finish to the season. I think having two meets back-to-back allowed them to be immersed in competition, and, within 2 days of these meets within 2 days of each other, I think helped us greatly.
Have you maybe seen that reflected in practice and training the last couple of days?
I see a renewed confidence, which is a good thing. It's always great when you can feel like your athletes are becoming basically autonomous. They go on their own. We still obviously we're driving them, we're pushing them, we're coaching them, but when they're taking those corrections that you've been giving them for many months now, and they're doing them on their own, it's a good feeling to know that they're feeling more confident in themselves.
Scores have gotten more consistent the last couple of weeks. What is it going to take heading into postseason and the last three meets just to sort of take that next step?
We would like to replace every meet that we have coming up, which is the next 4 competitions. We can replace scores. We would like to replace 4 scores with each of those meets. So we're looking for a big finish to the season. That way we can accomplish our goals. If we don't have a big finish to the season, we won't accomplish our goals. So we're up against it. They realize it. We know it. We've told them exactly what we need to do, and they've embraced it, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
How do you kind of address those goals with the team? Did you just is it something that you emphasize constantly, or is it just something you mention and it just sort of goes unsaid from then on?
No, we address it. I'll show them. We qualify to regionals by an RQS, by a regional qualifying score. I'll put the Excel file up on the big screen in our gym and say, look, here's where we are. Here's what we've accomplished to this point. Here's what we need to do to get to where we can achieve our goals, or roughly what we need to get to achieve our goals, because we don't know exactly what other teams are going to do. But I can get them pretty darn close to what we need, and they see it, they're aware of it, and then I break it down individually. Okay, if you can do this, and if you can do this, and you can do your job for the team, we've got a great shot at achieving this. Now, let's get up, let's warm up, and let's go start achieving these goals here in practice. That way it makes it more likely in the competition.
From the beginning of the season, you've been relying on a lot of athletes who are in spots for the first time in their careers. What have you seen maybe them develop over the course of the season in those roles?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of great things from Shannon Mitchell, our junior Shannon Mitchell, learning a brand new vault, competing very well on vault for us, achieving a 9.9 in this past weekend, competing at a new spot on beam in the anchor spot, getting a 9.9 this past weekend. Amy Romilly as a leadoff on bars for us, getting a 9.9 this weekend. Holly Cunningham, a senior, going to the front of the vault lineup, which is difficult to score sometimes, and she got a 9.9 this weekend. I think they've, once again, I think they've embraced those spots in the lineup. They've embraced the challenge of new skills, and they've done really, really well for them.
What about Taylor? She was your anchor first meet of the season on floor, and then she had a little bit of a rough meet, but it seemed like she had a really solid weekend last week. How's she come along? She
did. We've actually made some changes. She had 3 passes in her floor routine the first meet of the year, first couple meets of the year. We've changed that now to 2 passes, which has really helped her out quite a bit. And the spot that she's competing, that second spot on floor, is a great spot for her. It sets up the athletes after her.
I was just reading the release after one of the meets this weekend, and you were talking about how you guys didn't beat yourselves. Is that? I know you said that's something that was an issue earlier in the season. Why have you gotten better at that, do you think?
I think they've just found a way to get through it. As I said, some of the seniors had been struggling quite a bit, and some of the underclassmen have been struggling a little bit, and I think they've kind of come through that. And why that's happened, I don't know. We really haven't changed a whole lot. We've been challenging them since day one. We're still challenging them. They've just come through that. Sometimes it just takes them working it out themselves, and I think that's what's happened. We haven't really changed a lot in training to prevent them from making mistakes in competition, because that's what we do from day one. We try to get them where they have the confidence, the numbers under their belt, where they can go out and hit skills and hit routines. And that's what we're still doing, and they've just seemed to have come out of it on their own, which is a great thing. Like I said, we want them to be able to go out there. They're competing one-on-one. They're competing individually by themselves. They need to be able to think on their own. They need to be able to react on their own. And I think that's something that they've begun to do.
You've mentioned your seniors a couple times. How much of with the end of the season coming on so quickly, how much of a sense of urgency do you see in them? And they played an important role in that process you talked about of being more autonomous and sort of taking ownership of things on their own.
Yeah, I think that was the reason they were struggling. There's different reasons why a senior could struggle. Maybe they've already checked out and they've moved on, or maybe they're feeling pressure. I think our athletes were feeling the pressure. I think our seniors were feeling the pressure. I think they've gotten through that. So toward the end of the season, I expect them to perform better because they've realized what's going on. They've dealt with it. They've realized what's the point, and feeling the pressure. We need to just go out there and do the best we can. And I think that's what they've grown to where they're doing now.
It's good stuff. Thank you.
You bet.